Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Gray, and we're just plain living.
Good morning. I'm Peggy Burton. I'm glad to be living.
Me too. Living is a wonderful thing.
I know. It goes fast, though.
Yeah, I was talking a minute ago about Roy Orbison's song "Crying Over You," and I was thinking about dying, and I want to say something to Ronnie Gerald, friend of ours, friend of this community. Her father passed away this weekend, and so Harry was a good guy, and I hope that she survives the grieving process well. And he was of a good age and had led a good life. So we just want to give Ronnie our best. But dying.
Are you trying to tell me something?
There's nothing wrong with being dead.
No, right.
Dead
really.
Because we don't know, but dying is a horrible process.
When you're dead, you're done. But when you're dying, that's
probably
the hard
a wonderful
part.
thing. Yeah. It's probably you probably just step from one door into some other existence.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Hey, this isn't the end. This is just what we're doing right now is we're like in kindergarten getting ready to go into the first grade. This is just a training session.
Speaking of kindergarten and first grade, there's this great number of third graders that are not being promoted. I was just seeing that on the national news, that they were being tested and being held back. And I'm thinking to myself, has it been 3 years since COVID?
I don't know, but I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is I know of somebody individually right here whose granddaughter is a straight A student and made 89 on the test and was failed.
At 89?
At 89%.
Weird.
And they're having a big problem with that. It's not the local school systems; it's the state.
Right.
And it's all about it's all about the money. But you take a school system and you take 50 or 60% of the kids have to go to summer school because they didn't pass because of a test.
One test.
One test. And most of them, a lot of them have had very good grades.
I've got to tell you, I remember when I took one of those tests, where you fill in the little things.
Yeah.
I was seemed like I was about second grade. I remember just going down and filling in all the little holes, kind of making funny patterns.
Yeah.
I don't remember even reading the questions.
No. But somebody's making money somehow.
I was
developing these tests, and you follow the money trail and you'll figure it out. But when you've got a kid that's a straight A student,
exactly,
for 3-4 years,
got to be some kind
and
of
makes
question.
80%, 89% or above 85% on a standardized test, and gets told they don't pass, they have to go to summer school.
Summer school. I don't think so.
Something's wrong.
Is that why a lot of parents are homeschooling?
They are, yeah. Well, and that's why a lot of parents are banging on the door of the Capitol right now.
And do homeschoolers have to take that test?
Homeschoolers?
Yeah.
I really don't know.
I don't know either.
But I know one thing. You've got kids that are crying right now because they don't know whether they're dumb or not, because one test that they made excellent scores on. I wonder what they have to make to pass.
I know that's unusual.
But that's what they're doing, and that's why I had heard about it, and I didn't really realize what was going on until this gentleman talked to me about it.
Is the summer school being subsidized by the government or something?
I have no idea, but it's crazy.
It's surely a state
It's crazy,
thing.
and they'll get to the bottom of it. Somebody will.
Well, I hope so.
Because these kids don't, all of a sudden they've had a stellar school record, and then somebody comes along and tells them you failed.
Exactly.
And they're going, am I stupid?
What a terrible thing to do.
To a kid,
I'd like to hear the end
single
of
test.
this. I'd like to hear how it works.
We don't need, and I'll wax philosophical right here. We spend too much time working toward a test and working toward telling kids how they're not good enough to do something, when we need to teach children until they learn the subject matter.
Right.
You know, what difference does it make if you don't learn math until the middle of your 3rd grade year, but if you make less than perfect, the math, and they pass you anyway because they're getting money to pass you, then you're never going to learn the next level. What difference does it make if you learn it at 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or 11? Teach kids until they learn the subject matter.
That's true.
Who cares when they graduate, how they graduate? When they graduate, they need to be educated, not just shuffle through for a dollar bill.
I agree with you. It's
so that's my feeling.
It's hard for me to understand a lot of those things that go on, and
it's not hard at all. It's all right there.
And
it's all got greenbacks involved, every bit of it.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
It's what the world rolls around on.
I know.
It's a shame. You know, and I've said this before, we don't take enough time with our tradespeople. It's horrible how our tradespeople have been treated in this country. And, you know, without our trades, you have other countries that have guilds where a young man who's good with his hands when he's in 4th or 5th grade, he don't want to go to college. He wants to learn how to handcraft cabinets. They have guild carpenters and guild plumber. I mean, it's amazing what they're taught.
People are forgetting the value of tech schools where they go and learn how to wire a house.
I'll tell you what the value of it is. Call a plumber and see what the value of going through a tech school is worth.
Right, true.
I guarantee you he pulls up driving a better truck than you do and probably lives in a better house than you do.
Yeah, there's a lot of great jobs out there for people to get, and I wonder sometimes why we don't spend more time teaching people to do more things with their hands. Some people don't like to be sitting at a desk all day long at a computer.
Julia, come in here, please. I want to ask her to do something for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So no, go in my office and go over by the refrigerator over there and get that picture off the wall under the gear.
Oh, okay. You got a new picture.
Well, it's not new, but it's pertinent to what we're talking about.
Good.
So yeah, I mean, and it's, you know, education used to be in a schoolhouse, one-room schoolhouse. Everybody from a 1st grader to a senior in high school was in one room. Yep. Here you go.
No.
See this guy? Get a picture of that guy right there.
He's a farmer.
He's a farmer. That's Farmer Jones right there.
I love him.
Okay, you got him?
And we need...
There you go, now.
We need more of those.
Now, that's good. That's Farmer Jones. This is one of the writings out of my Loku book. This is Loku number 16.
Okay.
Clipping hedges, stitching seams. A tire gets fixed, a roof gets laid. The sound of hammers singing in the sun. A field is plowed, the harvest done. Thank God for stout folks.
Absolutely.
Because without stout folks, we wouldn't be able to live the life we live without the people who farm and frame and plow and plumb and all the things and sew.
Something I find very strange that people, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people that need help.
Sure.
And I think we need to help people when we can. But there's also a lot of people that could dig a hole in their yard and plant a seed and grow something to eat. Instead of, having to stand in line somewhere, there's more people need to grow their own food.
It's funny you say that. A couple of weeks ago, the preacher was talking about the meek will inherit the earth. That's in the Bible. The meek will inherit the earth. They already have.
Right.
The cat who's the country boy, Charlie Daniels said it, country boy can't survive. Hank Williams Jr. said it. The guy that lives out on a river, and there's a bunch of them that know how to jug fish.
Exactly.
How to kill and skin a squirrel and cook it. They have a goat, and they got chickens.
They got plenty to eat.
Whatever happens to the economy, they're going to be the same tomorrow as they are today.
Chicken eggs, for instance.
Yeah, they won't
All
be.
you need is a chicken, a cow, and a
goat. Drink goat's milk.
You can drink goat's milk, and the goat can mow your lawn for you.
Mow your lawn for you, fish, hunt.
And they're just so cute.
And work with your hands. Keep things up to snuff, you know?
Yes, I agree. And
they won't be killing each other at Kroger's for the last gallon of milk.
Right.
Like 98% of this country will be. Starving to death because they don't know how to do anything.
Yeah, and there needs to be a few things in school taught about that. Are they doing home economics anymore?
I don't know. I know at one point they framed houses at the high school,
and which was fabulous.
One of the teachers up there got somebody to get that started. Might have probably been Builder Supply.
Yeah.
Helped him with some materials, and they got to where they would buy a lot
and build a house
and frame a house. And so the tech people at the high school, those kids, when they got out of high school, they had a skill.
Well, I can tell you right now that I would have not lived in a house that had electricity had my father not been able to do everything.
Yeah.
He's the one that put it in.
So.
He could do anything.
Yes, he could. Yes, he could. Our fathers. Speaking about our fathers, it's Memorial Weekend.
And a lot of people that we need to.
This Friday at the Veterans Park downtown.
Right.
There will be.
What time is that?
I believe it's 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I think so.
There'll be more bricks put in the pathway and dedication made.
That's a wonderful
project.
And
there'll be speakers and yeah, very much. And so, speaking of our fathers, the question's been asked so many times: who's going to keep the flag high, up in the wind like our heroes did, to follow as we watched it fly? As they pass along in the midst of the song, someone must finish the rhythm and rhyme. The lessons they taught, the battles they fought, have fitted you for the shoes left behind. Wearing the shoes left behind, being a torch in the night, how can you ever measure up to match the blazing light that their legacy left for you to see, knowing that you would find in the memories all you would need to wear the shoes left behind? At times they seem so large, sometimes the pressure squeezed tight, but the more you walk the road they trod, the more the fit feels right. As hard as it seems, follow your dreams, because you're one of the one of a kind. Embrace the morn, because you were born to wear the shoes left behind. Wearing the shoes left behind, being a torch in the night, how can you ever measure up and match the blazing light that their legacy left for you to see, knowing that you would find in the memories all that you need to wear the shoes left behind? Yes, embrace this morn, because you were born to wear the shoes left behind. We'll be back in a minute.
Good.
The Bookshelf in Tullahoma is the fundraising arm of the Coffee County Literacy Council. Since 1988, the Literacy Council's goal and purpose has been to support and promote adult basic education in Coffee County. We enable individuals to complete their high school equivalency exam, which helps them get better jobs or continue into higher education. The Bookshelf at 114 Southwest Atlantic Street in Tullahoma is where we sell used books, which are donated to us by the community. Come see us, bring your books to donate, and join us as you find every genre of books that you can imagine.
I had a knee replacement, so they've got me in life care, which I'm very, very thankful for. I couldn't garden, I couldn't do my flower beds, I can't chase my little dogs. I have been in several therapy sessions for knees and back, and that's the best therapist I believe I've ever been to. It's tremendous because I'm able to walk again, but if it wasn't for the care, I wouldn't be where I am.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
Parkview Senior Living, active, independent senior living at its finest.
Do you love sports? Then you should know about STEM. Because maximizing nutrition, analyzing peak muscle performance, calculating the perfect shot, and more are all made possible by science, technology, engineering, and math. In fact, there are more careers than ever in sports science. So if you have a passion for sports, then think about getting involved in STEM and improve everyone's game on and off the field. Get inspired at SheCanSTEM.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, and I'm proud to have a young man with us today, Mr. Joseph Starr, and he is here to tell us about a new form of youth football, a brand new league that started, and it's I believe it's flag football league.
Yes, sir.
For youngsters.
Yes.
Joseph, thanks for being here, buddy.
Thank you for inviting us down, Mr. John.
You're welcome.
We are trying to get a league. We started a spring league, John, in Winchester this year. It was pre-K through 8th grade this year, and in the fall we're going to go all through to the 12th grade.
Okay.
You know, we don't want to limit kids, you know, to just certain age groups.
Right.
We got Murfreesboro, Shelbyville's going to join the league this year in the fall. Tullahoma's going to join in the spring, but they got their own flag football in the fall, so we can understand that.
Right.
You know? And we've got Clint Spencer as our league commissioner, which he won't be in the fall. His stepson's doing it, so we'd like to get all the kids, get the word out, let them know what we're doing, trying to get youth, like you said, John, involved back in these things. You know, they're good enough to play high school, but they don't want to play high school, they can come play for us. You know, and it costs a little bit to play, but, you know, it's worth it. At the end of the year, you have a championship Saturday. Everybody plays. It's a single elimination. The winners get rings.
Okay.
So, my kids, I coached a 5th through the 8th grade team, the Seahawks, this last spring. We went 5-3, John, and that's the best season they've had. My kids enjoyed it. Dr. Orr, the dentist at Winchester, his son played for me, and that's all I've heard. You know, they want him to play back in the fall. So, and we're going to try to.
Well, how many kids are on the field at the same time?
6. It's up to 6. I think 9th grade through 12th grade can have 7 on 7.
Okay.
Each age group, I think 8th grade or 9th grade through 12th grade will play 50 yards. It's not a full 100-yard games, but you know they still play 4 quarters.
Sure.
Each game lasts an hour, no more than an hour. There's no kicking involved. All you do is go from 1, 2, or 3 on your extra point, and it's real fun. You know, to coach it is real exciting. You know, the parents get out on the field. They sit on the sidelines. You don't have to sit in the bleachers. Winchester, it is held. The games will be played every Monday over at the old high school. Whatever that address is there, I'm not really for sure, but it's the old high school football field.
Okay.
And we would like to get, you know, I can give them Clint's number. They can get with him, the website. They can contact him when they need coaches, need players, and referees. Okay.
And now what's the name of the league?
As it says on our bag here, Mr. John, is America's Flag Football.
Okay.
And Mr. Bentley, I'm not sure of his last name, lives in Louisiana. He started this about 20 years ago, and he said it's growing constantly. And that's why he got with Clint Spencer here in Tullahoma, and we've started this league to get us involved.
Well, you know, a lot of football takes a lot of rap about how brutal it is and how many people get hurt, and you know, kids, that's going to go on. You know, this is not going to do away with regular football because that'll be played forever.
Yes.
But this gives a kid to play the sport and learn about the sport and do it in possibly a little bit safer way. But I guarantee you there's going to be black eyes and bloody noses, and there's going to be knocks, and people are going to fall down, and if somebody gets hurt, somebody will be getting hurt. I mean, you can't throw a bunch of kids together and one of them doesn't get a scrape or a scratch.
Well, we had one kid, Dr. Orr's kid, had never played, and he thought it was tackle football. You know, like you said, they think when they first come out it's tackle, but it's no contact. We have to teach that, install that into the kids as it goes. You know, they'll tackle you, they'll hit you, but once we get it installed, they learn to pull the flag. You know.
And there's probably no lineman involved.
No, sir, no. You got one.
Is there a center?
You got a center, got a quarterback, 2 receivers, and a running back. So, and it's exciting to coach.
So is there blocking?
No. There's no. We don't allow any kind of blocking of any kind.
No contact.
No contact at all. No, sir. No.
But they can get in your way.
Yes, they can still stop. They can still intercept a pass like normal. They can sort of put their hands on you like this, but they can't shove you like they do in real football.
But a running back, like if he's going out for a pass and a receiver gets it, he can run between whoever's trying to get him and the receiver.
Yes.
I mean, that's a way of blocking,
yes,
just
yes.
being in between somebody, but not knocking people
yes,
down
sir.
and
Yes,
clipping them and going after the knees and the.
Yes, sir. None of that. Like I said, it's no contact. But a lot of kids don't understand that at certain ages. You have to install that into the kids. And like we was talking earlier, as a coach, we have to sit down and install a game plan.
Right.
Like a regular high school has practice. We
Sure.
practice 2 days a week. You're allowed as many days a week as you want to practice as a coach. But normally Mr. Spencer allows 1 day a week. And then on Mondays, every Monday at Winchester, first game starts at 6 o'clock and the last game starts around 7. You know, there's constantly movement. You know, there's downtime, in other words, but you have to prepare for your game.
Right.
You know, you have to get your kids installed in it. I had 6 kids on my team and I was lucky to get 4 at practice.
Right.
And that's hard to coach a team like that, but I was real proud to go 5-3 with my kids, you know, not having 4 or 5 kids at practice every day when I'd practice, but they got after it. You know, my quarterback, he's played for Will, I can't remember his name, he's over here at the high school now. He coached North in Winchester last year. Mm-hmm. And he said he played for him, and he told me he was a good kid, and he was. He was real athletic. And I was proud to coach him. I'll be proud to coach again.
So how did somebody going to get in touch with you?
They can contact me at 931-588-6196 any time of the day. And of course, I umpire Little League Baseball in Winchester. Tonight I've got 2 games, but they can contact me anytime before 4:30. My first game starts at 5:30 in Winchester, or they can just come to my residence or see me out in public and talk. You know, I can get them in touch with Mr. Clint. And we would love to have your child to play. And like John here said, this is installing respect to your elders. We also install discipline and other things that a lot of kids don't have nowadays.
Right.
You know, and respect an elder.
Well, and being part of a team.
Yes,
You're part of a team.
It's team. What I install in my kids. There's no I in team is what I tell my kids.
There you go.
And where I played at Ider, Alabama for Coach Tommy Wells, which is teacher at Richard Hardy now, that was the main things he installed was respect for your elders and discipline. And if you can't have discipline, the thing we tell kids and your parents, don't sign your kid up if he's not going to play, because we don't want him.
Right.
Because I had a kid, to make it quick, that practiced one practice before season started and he didn't want to play anymore because he was going to get to play with have to play with older kids. And in the fall, we're going to try to stop that. You know, your age group will be with your age group instead of with older kids.
Yeah, it needs to be that way.
Yes, that's what I told Clint, and we've talked to Bentley about it. And he's going to let me and possibly Clint and Clint's stepson deal with, you know, putting the kids on the team this year.
There you go. Joseph Starr, thanks, buddy. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
And y'all pay attention to this and find this fella and let your kids play flag football. We'll be back after these messages.
I can't you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna let you go. No, no, never gonna let you go.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go.
For many senior citizens, life looks like this, but it doesn't have to. When you make your home at Parkview Senior Living, life after retirement takes on a whole new meaning. Daily exercise options, fun outings, happy hour, game nights, movies and popcorn, arts and crafts, enjoying friends over chef-prepared meals. Parkview Senior Living, where you're always home, but you're never home alone.
He's a little bit of you, he's a little bit of me. He's the trash along the roadside of Tennessee. He's the garbage that we find. He's the dream we left behind. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash. A throwaway bottle or pop-top can may not seem much to a traveling man, but a little bit of litter goes a long, long way. Growing, getting bigger every day. Tennessee trash messing up the highways. Tennessee trash jumping up the byways. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash.
We have met the enemy, and he is us.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
I was skeptical about getting the COVID-19 vaccine. There are a lot of opinions being shared. But I had the chance to talk with my doctor about my concerns. He told me the vaccines are backed by decades of research, and that the vaccines are proven safe and effective. Now I'm protected and ready to put this pandemic behind us. Join the millions of Tennesseans who have decided to give COVID-19 vaccines a shot. Visit covid19.tn.gov to find an appointment today.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back. I'm on the set today with a member, or what are you? I say a member, or are you the leader? You may be the leader. This is Dan Ite with the Rescue Squad.
Yes, Coffee County Rescue Squad. We are a volunteer organization representing all of Coffee County.
Coffee County. How many people are involved?
Right now we have 32 volunteer members. As I said, we are volunteers. We don't get paid. Everybody that's a part of the unit have their own jobs that they do during the day and at night. And whenever the call comes out, we get paged out, and whoever's available, if they're not at work, they try to respond.
They try to respond.
And we handle approximately a little over 100 calls a year.
Wow. That's
throughout Coffee County.
Throughout Coffee County.
Yeah.
And how long has this been in existence?
Right now, the Coffee County has been in existence for 60 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah, this Saturday from 10 to 2 p.m. in Manchester at the Southern Food Market at 2050 Hillsborough Boulevard. We are putting on a open to the public, free celebration for us being in existence for 60 years here in Coffee County.
That's wonderful. Has it been put together by all volunteers and donations?
It's the, right now, everything that we do as far as the presentation, the monies that we put on did not come out of the coffee or the rescue squad. It did not come from the county. It is all volunteer. Some of the people have been donating their time, their services, and we are open to the public. We want it to be free. Bring your kids. We're going to have face painting. We're going to have face painting. We're going to have demonstrations with our equipment, showing the public what we can do. We're also going to have a petting zoo for the kids.
And
we're going to have bounce houses for the kids.
Who's doing the petting zoo?
That I'm not sure.
You're not
It's
sure?
Some young lady, not even.
I wonder if she's the one that has the kangaroos and stuff.
No, I don't know.
Anyway,
don't know.
you might want her next year.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about it. When did you get involved in this?
I've been with the rescue squad going on just under 10 years.
That's wonderful. And are you actually from Coffee County?
No, I'm not. I'm originally from Western New York, but I moved to Florida. I went to college down there, and I was a police officer in Miami for 33 years.
Well, thank
I
you
retired.
very much.
My wife and I just moved up here about 13 years ago.
You're a born giver, and that's a wonderful thing to be. Thank you for what you do.
Yeah.
What's one of the most exciting rescues you've ever done, or important maybe? Maybe it wasn't exciting.
Surprisingly, here in Coffee County, we've had quite a few. We responded a lot to the state park, Stone Fort, Short Springs, and Rutledge Falls.
So
we've had several at Machine Falls and Short Springs.
So if somebody needs you,
they call 911.
911, okay.
Yeah, we are dispatched through the active 911 through Coffee County's Communications Center. And we work hand in hand with the park rangers and with the police officers here in Tullahoma, as well as Manchester.
like for instance, if somebody falls down a cliff and can't get up,
We are the ones that respond.
You're the ones.
We are certified and trained in several disciplines. We do high and low angle rescues. We just presently got recertified with high angle rescue, and that's where it comes into play.
high angle, they climb
That
it.
is actually rappelling off the side of a hill or
Oh,
off
wow.
the side of a cliff
That's
to rescue persons or whatever. And we also do land searches, water searches. We're certified in structural collapse. During we have the tornadoes around here.
Oh,
if we have a
absolutely.
structural collapse, we will respond and we can get in. We know how to reshore up the structure to make it safe for the first responders to
You
get
have
into
some
the building
smart people in there.
and check for other persons.
Are y'all looking for volunteers?
We are. We're always looking for volunteers.
And if they want to
even-
volunteer, how do they get to you?
We have a number. I don't
That's
have it
all
off
right.
the top of my head.
Well, do you have a website?
Yes, we do have a website. It's coffeecountyrescuesquad.com.
That's easy to remember.
Yes,
coffeecountyrescuesquad.com.
coffeecountyrescuesquad.com. And they can be check the information there. It'll give you the information.
And
how
so
to
when
contact
somebody
us.
does volunteer, they go through the training to
Yes.
learn how to do.
And if they want to volunteer, what we normally do is the third Tuesday of every month, we have an open membership meeting with our members and the officers, and the general public is invited as far as if they want to join.
And they can ask
sign up,
questions and
ask
learn about
questions.
what it is they have to do and what they
Right.
need to learn to do.
You don't
About
have-
this event on Saturday,
I'm sorry.
about the event on Saturday, let's talk about that again. So we want, because
Yeah.
you want people to come.
Saturday from 10 o'clock to 2 p.m. It's open to the general public.
It's close to Al White,
for a
did you
celebration
say?
for the rescue squad being in existence here in Coffee County, 60 years. And we want to show the general public what we can do, the equipment that we have, and for the kids to enjoy themselves with the petting zoos and face painting and so forth, and get to know the public, and they can get to know us.
I think that's wonderful, and I think more children and people like me need to be exposed to this wonderful thing that you do, because my first thought, you know, when maybe I fall and I can't get up, like you see on TV,
Yeah.
is dial 911, but and thank goodness you're part of that.
We are part of that.
We just
A
say,
lot of
"I need to be rescued."
A lot of times we help the ambulance service because they have persons that are challenging to remove from a residence or a field. We just had a call last week. A gentleman fell at a construction, and we had to respond there because they only had 2 ambulance persons, but it took 6 of us just because of where he
Wow.
was located. I mean,
That's amazing.
it was a pretty muddy mess.
I
But,
can imagine. I
yeah,
can
but,
imagine.
we
You
were
just
able
have
to
to
get
go
him-
out prepared for that.
Yeah, we're prepared for it, and again, we're all volunteers. We do it because we want to help the community, and we enjoy it.
That's awesome. It really is. And I hope people will come out Saturday.
We're looking forward to it.
I think you said it was next to Al White
It's
Motors.
2050 Hillsborough Boulevard.
Is it
just
in
next
a-
door to Al White.
Is it an
Ford.
open? Is it all outside?
It's in the open parking lot.
And will you
We're-
have food trucks and stuff?
We're going to have a few. I believe there's 3 or 4 food trucks. We're going to have helicopters.
Well, awesome.
We got bounce houses. We got a bounce sled. We're going to have a dunk tank.
That's
So
great.
it's an open. Basically,
Are
it's
you
an
going to
open.
get dunked?
I hope not. I hope not.
I think that's fabulous. Anyway, bring a little money with you so you can buy food and drink
Yes,
and whatever that
You know,
you
it
need.
supports them, and it comes out and it helps us too.
And the kids, I think, are going to love it.
Yes.
Dan, it's so nice meeting you.
Thank you for your time, and thank you for
And
having
we
us
hope
on
to
the
have
show.
you back, and thank you for the rescue squad and your contributions to our community.
Yes.
I think we'll be back with some other thing.
I want to invite y'all to come by Clayton's, downtown Tullahoma. We try to serve the community, the area, and we try to help people with their feet and comfortable shoes. We still measure feet. We have a great new arch mat. We have insoles. Please come see us at Clayton's and let me help you find some comfortable shoes for those achy feet.
Service and quality at Clayton Shoes Mall. We're gonna fit your style.
My husband was diagnosed with a spinal infection. He lost his ability to swallow and the movement of his legs.
I couldn't turn over in bed, I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat.
They were just wonderful in the treatment and care they gave my husband.
I regained my mobility where I was able to go home.
It is miraculous.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
STEM is everywhere. Like here, behind the scenes of The Walking Dead.
When we break down clothes, we tumble it with trisodium phosphate, rock salt, and dish detergent.
We stitched together images of our model and created a 3D set that can be walked through in a VR headset.
We're able to turn 12 walkers into 1,000 walker boards.
STEM can create new worlds on and off the screen. What will you make with STEM? Get inspired at shecanstem.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
Hello everyone, I'm John Rickman. And this is Pat Welch and John. We are here today for segment 83 of the Conversations of John and Pat. Marching to 100, Pat. Marching to 100. It's going to be a great event.
The Wilburn brothers were somebody that I listened to when I was young. They were in the 50s, 60s, this sort of thing. My brother and I knew some of their songs, and this is one that I'd like to bring up.
Kind of dream that y'all might be on the...
We live 40 miles south of Nashville. We always thought 31A might lead us right straight to the capital of country music.
Wow.
And it did. It did lead us there. You know, we couldn't stick.
But you made it.
We made it a little bit.
I like that story, John, that y'all got on the Grand Ole Opry. We got to take any pictures, but you felt like you'd be going back. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to go back.
We thought, and that was August 22nd, 1980. I know it just as well as my marriage date, my birthday. But we went,
not quite as
no.
Embedded in your memory as
But
the marriage.
we went, we played, we did good. You know, they applauded for a total of 16 seconds. 16 seconds is a lot. 1001, 1002, they kept, I mean, they saw that we...
I don't know if the clapping at the conclusion of our shows has been that long.
But this is the Wilburn Brothers song.
Lay it on.
Roll, muddy river, roll on, muddy river, roll on. I've got a notion you'll go to the ocean alone. I've got a baby in Tennessee who's long been a-waiting for a little old me. So roll, muddy river, roll on, muddy river, roll on. New Orleans into old St. Louis, Stockton, Memphis, Minneapolis too. Back in Nashville I'll be through, so roll, muddy river, roll on. I love you, but just call it fate. You and I are gonna separate. You'll be here, but she won't wait. So roll, muddy river, roll on. Roll, muddy river, roll on. Roll, muddy river, roll on. Muddy river, roll on. I've got a notion you'll go to the ocean alone. Well, I've got a baby in Tennessee who's long been a-waiting for a little old me. So roll, muddy river, roll on, muddy river, roll on, roll on.
Good, John. And
Wilburn Brothers, Teddy and Doyle. Teddy and Doyle. You know, when they died, like a lot of music industry folks have passed away in the last few years, old singers, it's like somebody in the family died. Yeah.
Idols, almost. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if there were so much idols as there were just people that we sort of recognized and knew on television. You know, we recognized their voices.
Emulated and desired to be like.
To tell you the truth, I don't know any of the voices out there today that's sad, but I don't. Everything is... I listen to talk radio a lot and to lots of other things.
Well, at one point we used the song as a segue, and sometimes we had to stretch. And today I did see a stretch from your words, the reminders up here, about a muddy river and Memphis.
Yeah.
So remember that part of the song, and I'm gonna bring that back into my.
Yeah.
And you'll be amazed. We have had several historical parts on the Civil War, John, before, and we've always made a real good disclaimer that we were not going to take sides and decide which cause was correct and so on and so forth, but we were going to recognize the valor and the sacrifice that both sides went through in the Civil War. And you've got a member of your family that had a horrific injury during the Civil War fighting for the South. And but today we're going to counteract that subsequent stories. We're going to talk about a story from the Union side. And I have mentioned several times that in my travels for my wholesale lumber company that I represent, there's a church between Seymour and Maryville in a very rural area, and that area I believe was the whole area is called Eusebia, and there's a Presbyterian church there that was started in the 1700s, and that I believe
that's a pretty church, man.
It's a beautiful church, And there can't be 300 people living in that community now, but the church has been such a focal point of that area that there's over 1,000 people buried there. Show that. See if we can see that, Philip. That picture number 2. That's just a small part of it. And if you look in the back, kind of the right side, you can see some mountains. Those are the Smokies. And as you come from the entrance of that church out, and it's facing the graveyards in the front of the church, it's a spectacular view of the Smokies.
You know, a lot of communities like that, Pat, were thriving communities back in the day.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they were
back
at some point. It doesn't matter how small the community is, if it's existed for long enough, you're going to have plenty of people passing away. Mm-hmm. And I'd say a third to, at some points, maybe even 40% of the stones they'll never be able to read them. They're weathered, it's absolutely slick. But I'd say about every 4 or 5 times I go through there, which is every other week, I'll have enough time to just pull over around that church and go in the graveyard, and I almost always find something that's really interesting, and a lot of it's Civil War. And I found a member of the 3rd Tennessee Cavalry, which was Union Cavalry, and that section of the state was very loyal to the Union, and Andrew Johnson, who became president following Lincoln, he was the Union side governor equivalent of Tennessee, though of course he'd just been to represent basically people in Upper East Tennessee. But anyway, this past time I came through, I got into a section. I say there's over 1,000 graves there. I got into a section in the graveyard. There was a tremendous amount of Pickens, Pickens, was the name of the family. And once I started looking some of them up, it got to really picking my interest. There was a whole lot of the Pickenses, and I'll get into in a minute, that again served in the 3rd East Tennessee Cavalry Regiment. And one of the field officers, the highest ranking was Colonel William C. Pickens, and found his stone. And Philip, let's go to picture number 4. William C. Pickens is that stone. He was born in 1825 and passed away in 1872, and was the field commander for this cavalry regiment, which was fairly large. His father was Samuel Pickens, and that is picture number 3, Philip. There we go. He was judge of Sevier County, which I think this section that's in Blount County, where this church is now, at that time was part of Sevier County.
Pat, did you do something to that stone to make those words?
Somebody else did.
That's really.
Yeah. That's he lived from 1799 to 1862. Died during the middle of the war. He had another son, Samuel Wiley Pickens, who was a major, and also served under he served under his brother, and served in that same cavalry regiment. And his picture, Philip, is number 5. And there's his in his Union uniform. He lived from 1830 to 1906. And they were originally mustered out of, I believe, Murfreesboro. Let me see. We will make sure we're telling what we're supposed to be. And soon after that, they picked up the company of the first part of that cavalry was. From Upper East Tennessee was Company A. By the time they were mustered in Murfreesboro, they were added B, C, D, and E. So the regiment's growing big time. And they spent most of their action was in West Tennessee and then down into Mississippi. They came back to the Murfreesboro area after the Battle of Stones River, when the Union, of course, had Bragg retreat out of that. And they, at some point towards the end of the war, that regiment got into lower Middle Tennessee and then into northern Alabama, and they got cornered by Nathan Bedford Forrest Confederate Cavalry, and on September 24th of 1864, men under Samuel Wiley, whose grave we showed, that was the younger brother of the colonel, the Major S.W. Pickens, he and 150 of his men were captured around Athens, and just above Athens the next day was a really small area called Sulphur Trestle. And at that time, Forrest captured another 400 of them on September the 25th. And as the war went on, and a lot of exchange, as it was obvious the South was going to be defeated, the officers were exchanged, so they gained their freedom December 15th. So I know Samuel W. was captured. I'm not sure about his brother, William C. The rest of those men that were in that company, and almost all the ones from Upper East Tennessee, then were going to be released, and they were taken out of a prisoner of war camp and put on a boat in Memphis, which then brings me into the segue of the song. And this was in the spring, I believe in April of 1865. And the Mississippi, of course, was from the spring and floodwaters and so forth, was flowing really fast south. The boat just happened to go north, and somehow, I don't know who is to blame, but the name of the boat was the Sultana. And it was over double occupancy rate that was supposed to be in.
Because they were getting so much money for every passenger.
I would hate to bring that human frailty up, but you're probably right, John. But they weren't far out of Memphis, and one of the boilers exploded, and a whole lot of those men were killed. It's over 1,000, and I believe it was something like 175 of the Union Cavalry members from Upper East Tennessee were killed. In fact, I could not find the stone, but I did find some records that one of Pickens, another relative of these two officers, that he was not exchanged with the other officers. He lost his life in that explosion. And then for a little bit of a side note, there was a not related closely, not another brother or a son of these two officers, is a Dr. Thomas H. Pickens, who was buried in that cemetery in that same area where all these Pickenses are buried in Eusebia. And he lived from 1864 to 1897. And he was 32 when he died, and I found a mention on findagrave.com that this Dr. Pickens was killed and shot by Dr. McPherson. And that's the only note I could find about his death. And I have spent several hours of time, and maybe I'm a little bit too fixated on it, trying to find out what happened there.
It looks like they broke the Hippocratic Oath.
There was some kind of problem there because Dr. McPherson was not tried. I mean, I've researched and researched, and you can't find anything other than Dr. Pickens was killed by Dr. McPherson when he was only 32 years old. And we will leave our listeners and viewers to their imagination what in the world could happen where a man wasn't tried for a man for murder.
That was interesting, Pat. Yeah. East Tennessee, the Union Army, and we're going to talk about the Southern Army here before long.
We're going to pick up the Southern Army, and we're going to talk about the valor of one of his relatives, and I'm eagerly anticipating that. And this was closed out segment, 83. We're not done. Management is desiring us to get to at least 100, and we can hardly wait. Thank you all.
Talking about the Sandman. Good conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
Hi, my name is Ringo. Here at Barkview Senior Living, they're human-friendly. That's why I love it here, and so does my senior human. When they want a bite, they get chef-prepared meals, and so do I. Movies in the theater, day trips, walks on the trail, and other senior humans to play with. The grass and the grounds are exquisite. It's everything my human needs to be healthy and active. Barkview. A Parkview Senior Living for your dog's best friend, you.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, it's awkward to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how sketch is me? It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes. Look at that. Yeah, you even turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you got to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
We teach Parkinson's patients how to move big and not let the Parkinson's slow them down. I've had patients I've treated in-house that could not even stand up, could not roll over in the bed, left the facility walking with a walker, have come back to us in outpatient and continued their big program and are now completely, handling life. The success of the program is just phenomenal.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I'm an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back. You're big on to be so glad you hung around for this segment. I've got with me Martha Brooke Powers Hood. Hey, Martha.
Hey.
It's so good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
I've known Martha since she was about this high. And we're going to talk country music today. Mm-hmm. Martha directs the warm-up show for the country music show each year. So let's talk about auditions first, because we need new people.
All right, yes. So auditions for South Jackson Ghost Country are coming up Sunday, June 4th from 2 to 4, and Monday, June 5th from 6 to 8. So we are always looking for new performers just to add into the show. And we don't just do singing, we do dancing, clogging.
Yeah. If you can do turn flips and stand on your head,
exactly.
We'll take it.
I even have a ventriloquist in the warm-up show typically.
I love that.
So
she is growing and getting better every year.
She is. So any kind of talent you have, if you would like to bring it to the show, we would love to have you. One thing for auditions is you go to the website, which is southjackson.org/auditions, and you will fill out your audition form and sign up for a time slot there.
And by a time slot, you don't have to wait around. You don't have to go like at 2 o'clock and set until
4
it's
or
finished,
5. Yeah.
Right? So if you need to get your form in and tell what time you'd like to be there and get one close to that.
Yes.
That's something that Miss Samantha started, and that was very smart.
It was.
It really is. And we want you to know you can do a virtual audition.
Yes, so if those dates don't work for you, you can still go to that link and it will explain how to send in a virtual audition. So like, you still fill out the form, but then you can video yourself, with your audition songs or whatever you'd like to do. And there's an email, and I believe it's on that website.
I think it is.
That you send your form and your video to.
And I think we still ask for 2 songs.
Yes, I think typically we ask for a fast song and a slow song.
Right.
So 2 things or 2 whatever you would like to do.
Or 2 dances or what, yeah.
So,
there's so much talent in this region, but we'd like to reach out. I know this TV show goes to other counties around the region, and we hope people will feel comfortable coming and being on our stage. Rehearsals are not exhausting.
No, especially if you are just singing or performing in some way. I know for the warm-up and even for the main show, really you just have 3 rehearsals. So like for my warm-up kids, we'll rehearse once in July, and then they will have 2 on-stage rehearsals. Now, if you're in more than one show, then
you get
have
a few
little
more
extras.
rehearsals, right?
And I don't think, did we talk about, for those who don't know, each show is different?
That's right. The only thing that's consistent in every show are our commercials, and we do 12 to 13 every year commercials,
Yes, commercials.
which are 1 minute long, and the only way you get to be on the show, get your commercial on the show, is to call South Jackson Civic Center and get lined up somehow. So anyway, it's a wonderful show and a wonderful opportunity for the community to show what kind of talent we have in this region.
Yes, and especially for young kids. One thing I like about directing the warm-up show is, sometimes new performers can be nervous performing, especially with a live band. So the warm-up show is more relaxing for them because people are coming in, finding their seat, and it's a little bit more casual.
Yeah, a little more relaxed.
Especially for kids who've never performed before that want to but are a little nervous. So they sing with their karaoke track. They don't have to worry about singing with a live band. And people are just slowly coming in, and it's just fun. We
will have some performers that don't need karaoke. They might play a banjo.
Yes.
They might play a guitar. And
I always love
play
when
their
I
own.
have people who can accompany
Right.
themselves. Yeah. So, or if they have somebody they'd like to accompany them, like I've had some whose parent or sibling would accompany them. So that's great too.
That's great too. I want to add that we have a wonderful staff that works the country show. Samantha Terrell Waters is the director now, and you help Martha Brooke with that sometimes. I know you've taken over when she can't be at a rehearsal, and we have Jacqueline Sullinger Painter who comes in and teaches the choreography. So it's a great team, and I hope that we have a big turnout this year.
I hope so too. I'm really hoping to get some new kids and teenagers in the
And we
warm-up
really
show.
don't have a limit on age, do we?
No, that's what I was just telling somebody yesterday. There's no age limit. You can, if your child is able to get up there and perform, if they're 3 years old, bring them. That would be wonderful.
I remember Amy Baldwin performed on our show when she was about 3. She sang, "You Are My Sunshine."
Aww.
It was the
See,
sweetest.
that's precious.
I think she said "shun."
Oh.
It was the sweetest thing. Anyway, it gives people confidence, and I think in this life, in this world, if you want to succeed, you need to have confidence. Don't be afraid to get up in front of people and make a fool of yourself if necessary. But you don't. It's just a wonderful opportunity. And South Jackson Civic Center, the phone number is 931-455-5321. And you can get some information there, and you can also go by the Civic Center on South Jackson Street and pick up a form.
Yes, because we were talking about that earlier. We know some people, you might be able to sign up for a time slot online, but you may not have a printer. So if you do not have a printer and you would like to fill out an audition sheet, you are more than welcome to go to the South Jackson Civic Center office and pick up one there.
And it helps things to go faster if everything's filled out.
It does, for sure.
And when you're filling it out, and if let's say you decide to sing, put the name of your song plus the artist that sings it, so that the band can pick up the music from that. That helps.
Yes.
And we're crazy about original stuff. On this show, we do songwriters.
Yep,
And if you're a
songwriters,
songwriter, we want you to sign up and bring at least 2 of your songs to sing for us. And we have an Opry segment.
Yes.
We're loving people that come in with some Opry songs. I'm hoping a lot of people will do Loretta Lynn this year.
I know, I hope so too.
We need to honor her. She's one of our icons of country music. She was up there when I was in college, and she did a great job. And I do hope that that we get a good turnout this year.
That's what I'm really hoping for too. I think there's a good chance that we will.
Do you remember how many years you've been doing this?
Gosh, I started when I was in 2nd grade. So, I mean, I want to say this is either my 20th or 21st year.
Yeah, you were with the country show for a long time, and I love those shows because your mother helped put those on, and it was children doing the classic country singers.
Yes. Yes, it was always so much fun.
I'm trying to remember who you sang first.
I did Harper Valley PTA was my very first song
Yeah.
I did with in the opera segment.
And I think the audience loves a lot of those old songs.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
Sometimes the new songs are great, but there's still some great songs through the ages. So bring your mama, your grandpa, anybody you want to audition, because we take everybody.
We take everybody and would love to have new talent.
So I guess we are about ready to wrap this up. There's just so much you can say, but don't forget
www.southjackson.org/auditions.
Right. Auditions, and you'll find the form if you have a computer and print stuff out, and then call up whatever the number is there. I think there will be a number to set a time for.
Yes, there is.
For auditioning. Well, Martha Brooke, I think we've said all we can say.
I think so too.
Thank you for coming.
For having me.
We'll be back with other stuff.
Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department. Need you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street. Heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches, and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one! Command, this is primary search. We have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
Please help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
What's a Tennessee vacation? It starts off like any road trip, and then, boom, adventure and thrills everywhere you look, which happens to be some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Music here, history there, and all kinds of green in between. Come relax and unwind, or bring the crowd for some stargazing, or stargazing. Whatever you do, come hungry and expect an awesome soundtrack. It's all right here in Tennessee. We're playing your song. For a free vacation guide, visit tnvacation.com.
Come on. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and I tell you what, we're gonna have one of our friends that drops by from time to time, full of information, and I enjoy it every time Jackie Duncan comes by. And Jackie's got some stuff to talk about today. Can you imagine that? Huh? Can you imagine that? This guy's full of history, and history is a wonderful thing.
I'll tell you, we have one of the greatest celebrations coming up that most people don't know about. Well, I'm not talking about, it's on Memorial, what's around the Memorial Day area, but which is coming up. We know that coming up real quick. But the birthday of one of my oldest friends, Tommy Gwynn.
Oh yeah.
Coming up, and anyway, 104, I believe. 104. Tommy Gwynn will be 104 on June 2nd. But we're gonna try to celebrate the whole month. We want to bless it. Oh God, yeah. When you get 104, and as tough as he is, He was a bad man.
Oh, yeah.
And he was. That used to be.
We knew he was.
Yeah, and so
his military history will tell you that.
History tells us that. I think 13 Purple Hearts, said POW twice in Korea, and he escaped both times. But and he served in World War World War II and Korea. But he was a hero all over the place. That's the thing, everything he did, he excelled in. And he was just a blessing. He was a blessing to this nation, period, And hey, next time you think about your freedom, think about old Tommy Gwynn.
Tommy.
Yeah, he was one of the main ones in there, just sacrificed everything, ready to lay down everything to protect this nation and make this the greatest nation in the world. There's my friend Tommy Gwynn, and he's got a big day coming up, and we just want to bless him during that time, and I want to bless him all the time. Really, I think about it. I pray for this guy every day. I really do. Literally pray for him every day, and he and a few other people that are on my prayer list that I think enough of that, just they're great folks. And I remember the time. It just recently, until just recently, that he was able to. One of his favorite things, I believe, was kind of like one of my favorite things is going to Kroger to shop, and he would he'd always, last time I saw him down there, he'd parked his car, and he was still driving at 102, I believe. Right, I think he quit driving maybe at 102, I believe. Yeah, so he quit driving whether he needed to or not, but whatever. Anyway, but he was down there, but he was still driving. He had one of those little carts. He was getting around in that cart, and he was going at it good. So, and I introduced him to my niece that was up from Huntsville, Alabama, and her kids, and they thought he was just a fantastic guy.
He is that.
He is, and so I just wanted to bless him by remembering. I got a little poem I wanted to read for Memorial Day, hopefully, and I wanted to bless him just by remembering and telling everybody to please remember his birthday. And if you don't do anything, you might not see him or you might not even know what he looks like, but, say a little prayer for him. Just thank God for him. He's been a blessing to this nation, that's for sure. And I'd like to read this poem if I can.
Yeah.
And it was Let Freedom Be Our Guide. And this is a tribute to our veterans. And of course, that Memorial Day is coming up, and there will be a ceremony on Friday. I know over at the
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock over at the Railroad Park. That's not the official.
Called the Veterans Park.
Veterans Park, okay. And anyway, but it's called Let Freedom Be Our Guide. Since the beginning of time on earth, man has waged war and ruled by might. The war of principalities still rages on between heaven and hell and darkness and light. Today we come in remembrance of those who serve this great nation, and we vow that we will never forget all they put on line without hesitation. And though death laid its claim on many, that claim will not stand for those who believe, for all who die in Jesus' name will rise and live throughout eternity. Pardon me for not having...
Did you lose page 2?
Yeah, I had to lose page over there. And I want to say this is in honor, especially dedicated to the veterans in my life that I have known, World War II veterans. And one of them, let's see, well, let me say, that's not the whole poem, but I do want to show this group right here, which is, this is my father over here. This is Paul Duncan.
Remember him well.
He was a good man right here.
He was a good man.
Coca-Cola for about 45 years, I believe, here in town.
I never would have made it through that Coca-Cola building if it wouldn't been for Paul Duncan. I guarantee you that.
And it was in the old building down there where the Coker building is now.
Oh yeah.
And so, yeah, I remember that well as a child.
John Holland and Jordan Ennis.
John Holland and Jordan Ennis, yeah. And of course, that's Dad. That's his baby brother Talmadge. Dad was Army. He served in the Army, that's why I was born at Camp Forest during World War II, right at the end of World War II. And that's his baby brother, Talmadge. Talmadge, Dad was Army, Talmadge was Marine, and Henry, that's his middle brother. Uncle Henry was Air Force. So they had pretty much their services covered, yeah. That's my grandmother, Florence Duncan, and granddaddy, Henry Sweet Duncan. Everybody called him Sweet. And that's their daughter, their only daughter, Lynette. And she left, he left, and he left. They all were a part of the Great Migration out west at the end of World War II. When the war was over and everything, they went out for better opportunities, and they found them. And she married one of the local neighbor guys, which is owned the property now, but his family, Whit Martin, they lived right in the same vicinity as my family, and they married. Uncle Whit was an electronics. This guy was sharp. He was an electronics expert pretty much for Lockheed over the years, and they would send him up in planes to test the electrical equipment. But he was sharp, and of course he never could have done anything like that around here. You know, if he'd gotten whatever kind of job he could have gotten, it wouldn't have been anything. It
wouldn't have been that.
Wouldn't have been that, and a janitor's job or something maybe. But bottom line, that's why they went out west for a better opportunity.
Hidden numbers.
Yeah, that's right, and numbers. And so, anyway, but I need to probably finish. I wanted to get the end, and Tommy Gwynn, he was such a hero at all these medals, you know, and he has them at his house now, and it's just like a museum.
Oh yeah,
where he got all that stuff, and he was. See, he's a hometown hero, but he's a world hero, and I tell everybody every day about Tommy Gwynn. He's a good man, and so anyway. But the rest of the poem, I apologize. I had that kind of out of sequence. And because I was reading that poem, in fact, when I was on the city council quite a few years ago, well, it's been about 8-10 years ago maybe, when I was on city council, when they would have a program, Winston Brooks would usually get the program up, and Winston would ask me to do a poem, and I've written several poems, you know, just for that occasion, for Memorial Day and Veterans Day, and I'd always get to present them there. And it was an honor for me to, and to remember Tommy Gwynn and the other gentlemen. I took care of one gentleman who fought on the front lines in Normandy. Took care of him for quite a few years. I was his travel advisor and supplier, or whatever else he needed to go to the grocery store. I took him to the grocery store. He needed to go to the VA. I took him to the VA. But that was real good friend of mine. That was William Bryant, Billy Bryant. Everybody knew him as Billy Bryant, and but he saw combat in Normandy. It's dedicated to him, Mr. Clifford Allison, who was Army, and he lived in Shelbyville. Mr. William Kesey, he lived over on Polk Street. He was Navy, and did a skydive at 100 years old. I believe it was 100 or 90. It was 90 something or 100, I believe. But anyway, his picture was on the front page of the paper. I still got that anyway. And Mr. Lewis Curtis, he was on the deacon board in part of my association. He was a good man. He was part of the Buffalo Soldier unit, and that's an old unit that's been alive since 1800s. But he was still a part of it, and he spoke one year out at Arnold Air Force Base for Black History. Mr. Herbert Ensel. Herbert Ensel ran the Lion Oil Company here in town for years. And so anyway, but I got to know him more as I grew older, and we used to pass by his business every day as a kid. And but he was a good man, Herb Ensel. And he saw combat in I believe in Normandy or wherever. But anyway, a real hero right now is still alive, and we're still celebrating him, Tommy Gwynn. And he's got a birthday coming up, and we appreciate it. If you want to do anything, you know, he goes to First Baptist Church, I believe. And I used to teach Sunday school over there. I don't know whether he's still teaching or not, but he's just a blessing to the community and to this whole world. So he still gets, I think he still got something just recently, as recent as a few years ago, a couple of years ago, from the French government, some other kind of award. So anyway, but we owe him a lot, and this
yeah, we do.
As a nation,
yeah, we do, and a lot of those folks.
A lot of those
say,
folks, yes. There's not only him, but a lot of folks. And
you know, it's why the shoes left behind. I mean, who's going to fill their shoes, and are we gonna and is there going to be somebody?
I like that. That's a great concept to look at it from. Who's going to fill
the shoes? Who's going to fill the shoes? Yeah. That was an old. I think George Jones sang that song.
Yeah. Well, it's somebody.
But I wrote that for a friend of mine whose father passed, and
you should have read that.
And I did. I read it earlier.
Okay.
I read it earlier. Okay. But what we're going to do right now is thank Jackie for being here. It's always fun, my friend. You always bring a lot of wisdom and a lot of information that just isn't easy to find because you're a researcher and do a lot of things. And we appreciate you, and we're glad to have you coming on a regular basis.
Thank you, sir.
Took me about 20 years to get you to do it, but now you're doing it. So,
I appreciate you.
With that said, we'll be back after this commercial break.
The Bookshelf in Tullahoma is the fundraising arm of the Coffee County Literacy Council. Since 1988, the Literacy Council's goal and purpose has been to support and promote adult basic education in Coffee County. We enable individuals to complete their high school equivalency exam, which helps them get better jobs or continue into higher education. The Bookshelf at 114 Southwest Atlantic Street in Tullahoma is where we sell used books, which are donated to us by the community. Come see us, bring your books to donate, and join us as you find every genre of books that you can imagine.
I had a knee replacement, so they've got me in life care, which I'm very, very thankful for. I couldn't garden, I couldn't do my flower beds, I can't chase my little dogs. I have been in several therapy sessions for knees and back, and that's the best therapist I believe I've ever been to. It's tremendous because I'm able to walk again, but if it wasn't for the care, I wouldn't be where I am.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
Parkview Senior Living, active, independent senior living at its finest.
Do you love sports? Then you should know about STEM. Because maximizing nutrition, analyzing peak muscle performance, calculating the perfect shot, and more are all made possible by science, technology, engineering, and math. In fact, there are more careers than ever in sports science. So if you have a passion for sports, then think about getting involved in STEM and improve everyone's game on and off the field. Get inspired at SheCanSTEM.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, we're back, and we glad to have Peggy back up here. We're gonna tell you some more interesting things. But we've had some really good people on the show today.
We have had some good people on the show, some good things. The Rescue Squad, Coffee County Rescue Squad, fabulous group. And I didn't know that there were people you could call on if you needed.
Yes. And I told him when he left, I said, don't you be a stranger. I said, don't wait to be called and ask.
Right.
If you want to come be on this show, you come over here.
It's a
we'll
wonderful
work you
thing
in.
for so many people that
Yeah.
volunteer to help. And then Martha
And
Brooke.
Martha Brooke.
It's always good to have a pretty face, isn't it?
Well, she's a pretty face, ain't no
Yes,
doubt
she is.
about it. Ever since she was about that tall.
I know. I've loved
She's been on
Martha
the country
forever.
show for years and years and years.
And she's one of those young people that got educated and came back to Tullahoma
Yes.
to live. And
she's
married to a wonderful young man, Jared Hood, and
she's a grammar school teacher.
yes,
And
very
so
smart.
she's in the system and
Got two tiny little rug rats.
isn't that great?
They're so cute, yeah.
Isn't that great? And she does the, and of course y'all have discussed that, the warm-up show for the country
Does a
show,
great
and
job.
also performs in the main show.
Yeah.
She has a great voice.
Can I show my dogs now?
Show your dog.
Okay. All right. This dog is not my dog. Jody McGregor, it's at her house. This dog showed up in their yard, and obviously her children are treating him like theirs. Beautiful little
That's
dog.
a boxer, isn't
They
it?
think that he might be about 3 or 4 months old.
That's a good-looking dog.
The dog is house trained and goes to the door when he wants to go out.
Male or female?
I did not ask. I'm sorry, I should know that. But anyway,
that's okay.
If you happen to have lost your dog, there's a phone number there. Call that number and go out to the house and get the dog before he gets adopted by them.
Yeah, they're not going to want that dog to leave, so if you want your dog back, you better get out there.
You can tell her kids are loving
Before
on that
those
dog.
kids get attached to it.
It's a happy dog.
Happy dog.
But they do want to.
And you know, we're a couple of happy dogs right here. We've been attached to what we do for 30 years now, and bringing good information to you. I hope you enjoy what we do. If you do, please tell our sponsors. Go by their stores and their
buy their
businesses
stuff.
and buy their stuff.
Yeah.
You know, right here in Tullahoma, Tennessee, it's as Bob Couch used to say, it's the dimple of the universe.
Absolutely.
We'll be back next time. Y'all be safe out there.